When you start your business, no one ever prepares you for what's in store. So, finding someone else who just gets it is sometimes the thing that can keep you pushing toward that big business goal.
We're turning our Zoom coffee chats into a weekly, unfiltered podcast for online business owners. They were so good, we always wanted to record them and repurpose them for content, anyways. And that's on being a social media manager.
I'm Jessica Sheehy.
And I'm Madeleine Digan, and this is
#managed. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of #managed. Hey, Madeleine. Happy Monday as this episode is coming out. How was your weekend?
Good. I have a funny story for everybody though this morning or for today. So
Ooh,
I'm
do
back.
tell.
So I'm back home in Indiana, and my parents decided they wanted a chair and a desk from my childhood that is located up in our attic for whatever reason. They wanted it now. And so in my head, I'm thinking to myself, this is not a good idea. Also, why can't we wait until the son-in-laws are here, to go and get it? But okay.
Mhm.
So my mom and I, and how she even brings this about, she for sure sugar coated it or knows how to get me to agree to something. So she's like, "You want to go shopping?" And I was like, well, yeah. Okay. And so as we're on the way to the mall, she's like, "Yeah, so I need you or she let me preface it. She goes, her and I, an awesome backstory. My dad just had his hip replaced, so he's not going to be going up there, right? And
Mhm.
my mom who is 65, I'm like, you are not going up there. What are you talking about? So I'm just like, okay, this is a bad idea, but sure, all right.
Mhm.
So we get back from shopping, and I was hoping she was going to forget it, but no, she does not. So my dad's out there, my mom's out there. My dad's deciding to coach us through this. And so I pull the string down, and I'm short. So I have to get a stepping stool to even get the ladder from the attic down. Once the ladder is down, I'm like, I do not trust this ladder at all. Like at all,
Mhm.
but okay. So I'm starting to make my way up the ladder, and it creaks, and I scream obviously because I'm freaking out. I also remind
Mhm.
you all that my dad they're yelling. I'm like, "Why are we yelling? Why are we yelling right now? Like, why do I need to hurry this? Like, what is everybody calm down."
Mhm.
Continue to make my way up, and once I'm up at the top, I'm scoping it around because I'm like, ew, spiders, ew, what, what's that? Maybe there's a person up here, I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I watched too many crime shows because of my mother, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, what is up here? I was pleasantly surprised though, it was actually very clean, because I think in my head I was also thinking, oh my god, am I going to discover that my parents are hoarders? Luckily, they are
Oh,
not.
right.
Thank they are not. So, anyways, okay, I gather myself, and I'm taking my time, and my dad's like, 10 people could fit up there, Madeline, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. So I step, and the second I step, I fall through the attic. There was for sure a leg, my full leg hanging out of the ceiling. I have the biggest bruise on my
Oh,
leg, and it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there because I'm like, I'm up here. I might as well. I might as well. So we get the stupid chair. And again, where I'm like, how in the heck? I'm not that strong. I'm like, how am I? Somehow I
Mhm.
hand it to my mom, but I'm also freaking out because I'm like, you're not that strong either. How,
Mhm. Yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on? But then I look at her, and I was like, we're not, I was like, I can't with the desk. I can't. I was like, there's no, I'm mentally not well. So yeah, and that is I fell through an attic, while my time at home so far. What else has happened? Oh, I am reading a Frida, I'm gonna say her name wrong. What is it? R
McFadden?
Yes. I'm
Yep.
reading The Housemaid.
Oh.
So good. So
Mhm.
good. So, like, that happened. I'm reading a good book, catching up with family and friends. So, like, all in all, I'm loving my time back home. I leave
Mhm.
this weekend to go see my nieces in Dayton, Ohio, so that'll be fun as well. But
Yeah.
it has been quite eventful, guys. It has been quite eventful. How was your weekend, Jessica?
Well, my weekend was very uneventful in comparison, but I know last week we had talked about how we were both really wanting to focus on our personal brands in 2024, and I'm not gonna lie, last week when we were recording, I was just like, I have I have no content filmed. I have some ideas. I don't know how I feel about them. A lot of it feels really forced. Like it just feels like I'm trying to create things that I don't know, just in my mind, I feel like I should create, if that makes sense. And so, when I really think about my personal brand, it's obviously so easy for me to come on here to record the podcast every single week. That comes so naturally to me. So I spent the weekend, honestly, I probably could have taken more content. It's really hard to get used to. No one ever talks about taking content for yourself, how hard it is to actually film yourself. Like setting up my tripod in like so many different areas and ways. I'm like, oh, the lighting is bad. Or, there were some instances where I could see like my kitchen has some like ambiance lighting under the cabinets, like that was coming across like in a weird way. And I'm like, wait, turn that off. Like, no one talks about all of these different things. And then I was doing another version of a couple of versions of, like, what's in my bag, 'cause I feel like that's what I like to consume, like, a what's in my work
Mhm.
bag, what's in my purse, what's in my makeup bag, like, I'm traveling this weekend, so, like, things around that because I love that, and those are my favorite brands and honestly just favorite content to consume, and I am taking a couple of different takes, and it's so funny because I did one, and so I had Ryan help me with this one, and it came out really great. But it is not going to be one of those, like, ASMR, like, what's in my bag videos because you can literally hear, like, Ryan and I talking to each other in the background, and it's so random, like, our conversation is not making sense, and it's definitely a peek into, like, real life with us because I'm just, like, talking to him about random things while I'm supposed to be recording this, like, what's in my bag video. So, yeah, anyway, but the final
That
video.
needs to be a blooper. That needs to be a blooper,
Oh, it
though.
will, yeah, I
Okay, good,
definitely have
good,
a
good,
lot of
good.
bloopers because I think that to me is also, like, again, my goal for leaning into my personal brand is to create content that I think is really fun, and I just wanna be creative. That's really all I
Mhm.
wanna do, like, I want another creative outlet, like, that I can express things, I can try new things, I can try out trends, see if they work, or if I see a trend that I see other people doing, like, "Hey, I can actually film that for myself." Because sometimes not every trend, as we know, goes from, our clients to clients. Sometimes as for my social savvy accounts, I probably can't share that specific trend because it probably doesn't relate to the audience. And so, that was really great. But I'm not gonna lie, I did film quite a few pieces of content. I haven't published anything yet. So maybe by the time this episode is up, I might have because I'm just gonna post them as I feel like, okay, I'm ready to put this content out into the world. So um Harmony on her team always jokes that I always say shameless plug, but shameless plug for following me on TikTok at Jess Sheehy. There's 4 S's. So it's Jess S. Sheehy ultimately. And no, my middle name does not start with an S. I just also couldn't use my middle initial and I couldn't use Jessica. You know, when you're trying to find a username for yourself and it's like my name in
Mhm.
every way, shape, or form is taken. And I got married a few years ago, so I thought I would like wipe the slate clean and like have a couple of new names to work with, but no, we're
No.
we're on the struggle bus here. But anyway, that's my TikTok handle. So if you guys follow me, I'll obviously follow back because I'll probably recognize most of our awesome community over there on TikTok anyway. And so I'm gonna just start posting videos that I feel like is really fun. But I was telling this to Madeline, and I'm like, I filmed a lot of content. I did probably up to 3 takes on every video. If I felt like I needed to do more takes, I'm like, I'm gonna scrap this idea I'll do it another time. For whatever reason, I'm just not in the right mindset to do it. Then the other part to that is I didn't edit any of the videos. So I always used to do this when I used to film a ton of reels, like honestly, when reels first came out. I would film a ton, but I would never edit them. I wouldn't edit, I wouldn't put
Mhm.
text boxes, I wouldn't write captions. I would do it all in stages. So I'm gonna do that now for these TikTok videos because I just, when you're with a piece of content for so long, and it's also yourself, so you're like your biggest critic. I'm like, I'm gonna step away and come back. So I actually edited them all yesterday, and it was really fun to edit them. So I was happy that I gave myself that space to edit, and I like that part of our job, like editing videos. That's super fun for me to like put in cool things. And so I did a get ready with me, and there's a couple of times where I dropped my beauty blender. So I'm like, okay, let me get a little fun with this. I'm gonna keep these in because I think that shows the realness. Like I'm
Yeah.
not here sharing like any groundbreaking makeup tips. That's definitely not the niche of my account, um, but yeah, just very like real life. So I do feel accomplished in that. So I'm gonna try to keep it up. But the other thing, Madeline, I would love to like ask your opinion on this as well. And I think maybe you're along the same like boat as me, but we talked about how like earlier before we hit record, how you know we're our biggest critics, and so like filming content like around like our own apartment and house, even when I'm like at like parents houses or anything, I'm like, it's really hard for me to film because in my mind it's not that perfectly curated Pinterest board. Like these influencers have 2 million followers and their house is literally like created for a content house, not for actual living. So I feel like I can never really record and get a lot of content for that reason. But also the other reason is I feel like I've made some really great boundaries with myself being a social media manager over the past couple years, that it's that I like really pride myself on being more in the moment than capturing the moment. And now I'm struggling on that because I'm like, it's hard for me to actually capture content. Can you relate to that, Madeline, in any way?
Yes. Yes, especially both. I'm at my parents' house right now, and seriously, like, they have the ultimate, like, filming house, in my opinion. So, like, they just remodeled
Mhm.
their kitchen, and, like, there's so much natural lighting, so I'm trying to, like, knock out so much content because 'cause I'm just like, "Oh, I'm glowing." Like, yes, like, so much. So, like but when I'm back home in South Carolina, yeah, no, the apartment I live in a one-bedroom apartment, like, the lighting is
Mhm.
not it, and yeah, I definitely it makes me a little insecure, but obviously, if you guys have seen any of my reels and TikToks, like, we do it. I try and always be
Mhm.
in front of a window, but obviously,
Yeah.
when I've been attempting to do the get ready with me videos, I'm just like, "Well, this is real life," and, like, again, it is relatable because I know for a fact like, I'm turning 30 this year, and it's like, I feel like there are other 30-year-olds who need to see, like, "Hey, you're not alone in living in a one-bedroom apartment." Like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
interest rates are
Yeah.
poopy. But anyways, um, yeah, so that's how I feel about that, and as for the living in the moment, yes, so again, I'm back home in Indy, I'm seeing all, like, my childhood best friends, and what's funny is I'm trying to be better about filming our time together because I see all these best friend trends, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, like, that is so us." And so, for instance, Restoration Hardware just opened a restaurant here in Indy, and it's, like, in this beautiful old mansion, and I went with my best friend,
Mhm.
Allie, and I, like, again I, like, made a essentially a shot list for my time here in Indy with my family and friends
Mhm.
because oh, by the way, guys, if you aren't watching this, like, I have bangs now, and I wanted to make
Mhm.
sure to get, like, all the content with Kimber at Tone, like, the salon,
Mhm.
and I feel like if I don't make that said list for even my personal life, like, it's not gonna get done because I see I like,
Mhm.
I want to very much live in that moment, but at the same time, I do, like, I want to capture that for my personal brand, and just I feel like we talked about this maybe a few weeks ago, but, like, our Instagram, it's like a diary. It is me
Mhm.
recording these special moments, and yeah, did I answer your question, though? Like, where it's
Yeah.
like, yes, I relate to both
Yeah.
of those things, though, very much. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no,
and
I like that.
trying
I
to
think
and trying to, like you said too, I definitely, um, am trying to fall back in love with editing, because I do love editing videos, but I'm also such a perfectionist. I have all these ideas. So, again, something else I
yeah.
feel like we don't talk enough about is how social media managers and content creators, like, you not only are you coming up with your shot list, but you're also then having to remember to do, what transition did I want to do? Like, you literally have to, like, almost like script it out. You're scripting it
Yeah.
out, and then, like, going in and editing. Yeah. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
masterpiece. Like, we're literally, each piece is a masterpiece, and that's why I laugh, because we all can relate. Where it's like, the ones that you don't spend much time on are literally the ones that go viral. But at the same time, it's like, for clients, it's like, there still needs to be a strategy. Like, yes, we
Mhm.
can do those little one-offs, but at the end of the day too, like, we have to make sure that it is on brand, that it's on trend, that just that plethora of of a checklist.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's perfect. Perfect, perfect. And I think that's like a really beautiful segue into, obviously we plan out these episodes, so I full disclosure, I know what the water cooler is already, but yeah, I feel like that's a really good segue into this and just really timely with all the things we're chatting about. So, Madeline, do you want to kick
Mhm.
us off with the water cooler for this week?
Absolutely. So this week, the water cooler, our friend asked, or sorry, I'm pulling it up. Okay. Looking for advice on how to approach a situation where a client doesn't capture the best content to use, but also doesn't want to slash rigid rigid budget for me to come in and shoot content for them. I write a detailed shot list for them, but the lighting and angles are not captured in a flattering way. So editing is difficult and much more time consuming, and the final product does not look as eye-catching slash engaging, real specifically. I know I can only do what I can with what they provide me, but at the end of the day, I know it could be much better. They also don't understand why it's not performing as well despite me explaining the many factors involved in post performance. I'd appreciate any advice on what I can do slash communicate to get exactly what I need from them, or how I could convince them to hire me to shoot as well. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah. Been there.
relatable. Yep, been there.
Been there many times, and, I'll kick off with this one because I think, when it comes to this, I the thing that stuck out to me the most in what they shared with us is that they don't wanna pay for the
Mhm.
great content from this social media manager, and, as cheesy as it sounds, they're paying for the content they're creating because they're losing out on so many opportunities. And in my experience, and quite frankly, the best clients that we have on our roster are the clients who pay us for ongoing content creation. They pay influencers and UGC creators for ongoing content creation, or they figure out their budget to where we do like what I like to call like a content day. So if I come in maybe once a quarter, or it doesn't even have to be that consistent. Like it could be a one-off project, one or two times a year, where we're just going to capture a ton of content. I think that's a really great way to pitch it. So I think in reality, it just comes down to having the conversation with this client that they're paying for the work that they're getting, and also really emphasize that point on how time consuming it is for them to create that content that you're not even happy with, that you're getting as an end result. So, sometimes showing like you can get back those 4 hours in your workday every week or every 2 weeks or every month that you're creating content. I mean, that is more valuable than money in the bank for them because as we all know, like we always will and always can make more money in business and but we can't get time back, especially if they're the business owner. Most of the times our clients are, right? They're wearing all of the hats. And so if they can get their time back and can focus on something that maybe brings in more money, then they don't even have to worry about not wanting to pay your rate. So I think just have the conversation with them, talk about how it's, the time factor, because a lot of clients will relate to that. But also, too, if they're not happy with the results and they're setting really high expectations, right? Like they're expecting a Mercedes, but they only have like a used car budget. Like sometimes we just need to walk them to that answer, right? Where, there's so much more potential for your social media channels if your content is better and filmed better. And sometimes it comes down to really simple things of literally you just walking into their store, walking to where they are with a ring light, with like another kind of light, something to really spruce it up. And maybe you film it in a different way. And also, probably filming it with them in it is already going to add like a better layer to that. So, yeah, that okay. Long story, long story short, I'm very passionate about this topic. But Madeline,
No,
would you add anything to that?
the only other thing I would add too is because what's sticking out to me is how the angles and the lighting isn't flattering. I don't know if you've asked this client, and again, I don't know what tools you have right now, but in the past, when a client hasn't had a ring light, I've sent them the link to one that I prefer, and they've actually gone ahead and bought it. Um,
Mhm,
and other things you could suggest too is um, just and these are just little things that I've done in the past and was actually pleasantly surprised when a client didn't even bat an eye, and they were clients who has like they were the nickel and dimers, and so again at the beginning of this year, Jessica and I, one of our mantras was, just ask for it. And so the ring light is one, and again, get a good quality one. Like I should
mhm,
in the show notes, I'll put the one that I really like. But then the other thing is, um, maybe there's Lightroom filters, like, for
mhm,
photos, and again, maybe you have made your own, which if you have, amazing. I'm not a photo yes, I can take pictures, but I personally love
mhm.
looking at filters in Lightroom, and I actually sorry, side note, I actually just found one that I love for my own brand, like, because I've rebrand the Buzzing Blonde, and I've been trying to go for this, like, retro vibe, and I just found last night and bought, like, this '70s, Lightroom filter, whatever. Anyway, so I'm
Mhm.
super pumped about that. But again, where it's like maybe you also shoot them a link to a filter that you find and like and think could help the images. And also, I'm getting excited. I didn't know this. Again, discovering things. But did you know, Jessica? Again, I feel like you did for sure. But I didn't know you could also use these filters in videos on videos, like in Lightroom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
no, but I recently learned that. Like, I recently
okay.
saw someone's tutorial. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
glad
but I
it's
didn't
not
know
just
this.
me. Yeah, so again, I'm personally kind of pumped about that because again, I always wanna make sure my stuff is, quote, "on brand,"
Mhm.
And so,
Yeah.
I don't know, hopefully those are some good tips. Again, just ask for it. Ask for a ring light if they don't have one, that again, they can just keep, or if you wanna work that into if you honestly are wanting one yourself, like, put that into your budget the next time you get a client,
Mhm. Yeah.
lead.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. No, that's such great advice. Yeah. So keeping on our topic of content, we're just talking about all the content. I mean, we're social media managers, so why wouldn't we? That's kind of a subtopic of every episode. But for this week's Show Me the Numbers episode, I want to lean into some influencer marketing data, which influencer marketing has obviously been around for a really long time. I think it's really unique as social media managers are position on the marketing team and how, influencer marketing is always typically parallel with what we're doing. And so, Influencer Marketing Hub, which if you are new to influencer marketing on either side of the business, I think they're a great resource. There's a lot of different resources and tools and whatnot that they have. There's a ton of other things that we probably should talk about in a specific episode around influencer marketing, and probably more specifics with that. Anyway, they shared data for by the end of 2024, the influencer industry will reach $24 billion. And I think the most interesting thing when they surveyed a lot of people, businesses who hire and use influencers as part of their marketing strategy, the main reason that they are working with influencers, we might start by thinking, okay, it's sales. It's actually not. It's actually content, which I think makes a lot of sense to kind of everything we're talking about with, with different things where, okay, does someone want to actually like pay us to create content? Do they want to pay an actual content creator? Because I think there's sometimes a slight difference between social media managers who are content creators and then content creators, if I'm explaining that right. I know I'm saying the exact same words over and over, but there's a slight difference in that. So I think that is really, really interesting. And so whether you work with clients, I think influencer management is its own service in and of itself because it involves a lot of things. I really never think it should be like another line item on your invoice, like on your social media management package, or
Mhm.
even like an add-on, because the way that I think about influencer management is there's so many moving parts to it. You're stepping into another role. I mean, there large companies will have an influencer team or like an agency to manage this, right? In the same realm of social media. But on the other hand, you're managing expectations from the client. You're typically managing a really, really large budget because let's face it, influencers get paid a ton. The industry is going to be $24 billion by the end of the year, and you're managing the partnership between the influencer, the content they're creating based off the contract and what's needed, and making sure you have rights to reshare that on social media and all the different things. So it's a really, really big a big undertaking. And if you guys let us know, like in our weekly thread, if we should go deeper into influencer marketing, because I know probably between Madeline and I, we have so much different knowledge and experience. So we can definitely shine some light on that. But I also think, and Madeline, this is why I really wanted to talk about it on here, is that it's so timely because if Tarte influencer trips. We are at that time of the year again where I feel like I'm kind of like patiently waiting with my bowl of popcorn to see what's going to happen. And to top all things off, they're going to Bora Bora.
I'm so jealous. I
Yeah.
so I also, and I don't know if you saw, but Free People just took their round of influencers to Costa Rica. The only reason I know that is because we all know here we love Avery Woods, and she went on that trip, and I was just like living through her.
Mhm.
But yeah, I seriously, it is popcorn worthy. Like I'm just like, ooh, what?
Yeah. It's It's crazy, and I mean, influencer trips have been around for a long time. I mean, Tarte is notorious for their
Mm,
over the top, extravagant trips, always bringing the newest and high influence influencer on the trip. And it also too really leans into kind of everything that I think we all collectively feel as just consumers of these products, and honestly social media managers. I think we might be a little bit more passionate because we know like we know what goes on behind that, right? We know how much the influencer staff is probably being paid at Tarte
mm-hmm.
versus
The
the yeah, the influencer and then the actual gifted, opportunity, the trip and all of those things. So, it's definitely interesting. I know a couple of weeks ago we talked about Darcy Darcy Queenie, I feel like I'm mispronouncing her last name, but who had a ton of PR boxes to open
Oh,
and
yeah,
how
mhm.
so many people were so just outraged, as they should be, with the amount of consumption that gets sent to influencers who have so many things, and so it's definitely interesting to see that, and I just would love, like I would love a brand to start taking new approaches to influencer trips, which I think
Yes.
I think really changes kind of the name for it. I mean, obviously influencers are influencers, but I think there's so much more power in in like community and your audience's voice, which I know is really going to lean into what is on Madeleine's feed this week, which we'll get to, but it's so interesting to kind of see it all unfold in real time.
I couldn't agree more with that statement, though, and again, I know that's actually going to be the perfect segue into is slash was on my feed this week. But
Mhm.
yeah, just change, and I'm looking for some cutting edge strategies here from some
Mhm.
brands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I
Again,
agree.
I feel like our minds combined, like, again, if there's any brands
Mhm.
out there listening who want Jessica and I's thoughts and opinions, hit us up.
Mhm. Yeah. I think we could really, break it all down and reconstruct it into something
Mm,
a little bit more worthwhile, but yeah, it's interesting. So I know, of course, right now my feed is this is not my on my feed, but my feed is filled with a lot of, creators getting their boxes about going on the Tarte trip to Bora Bora, and so many things, and I know they go sometime this week, so we'll definitely see it in real time, and I'm just really interested to see the content to come from it because we already know what to expect, um, but it's
mhm.
just definitely interesting, and so, yeah, I know we talked and hinted at so, Madeline, do you wanna start with what's on your feed? Because I feel like this is different, but I feel like this is a much more strategic marketing play
Mm,
that this brand did than, like, in comparison to Tarte's influencer trips.
yes. So this past week, or honestly might have even been this past weekend. Now I can't remember. But Glossier did a giveaway where it was via their Instagram stories. They created a or sorry, what is that feature called? Share, like, they created a template to share your version, right? Is that what that sticker is called?
Yeah, I think so.
I
Yeah,
feel like everybody listening knows what I'm talking about, but
I know.
it create, like, where it's like the share your, just that template, the template one.
Yeah,
And w so first of all, already loved that the giveaway was via their Instagram story. It wasn't on their feed. Already, to me, that was a game changer. The second thing
mhm,
they did, so what they had was they wanted you to screenshot your like, what was in your cart, and that's all you had to do. Like, you just
mhm,
had to share what was in your Glossier cart via Instagram stories, and it was such a breath of fresh air because, again, I don't know if you guys are new to following me, but, like, Instagram stories to me has always been my bread and butter. Like, a lot of clients have come to me because like, making sure that your Instagram stories are on brand, just like your feed, because, again, a majority of people are starting to watch stories more so than be in the feed. And
mhm,
I that's where so much engagement can happen, and I feel like their social media manager, like, made note of that, and
mhm,
it was just so beautifully done. I don't know who ended up winning, but I was just obsessed. I was like, "This is so," instantly shared it to Jessica and Harmony. I was like, "Oh my god. Oh my god." Like,
mhm.
love. Again, I feel like we talk about Glossier, like, so much. Again, shameless
Yeah.
plug, social media manager there. Let's be friends. Um,
Right.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
and
and I take it back too, so because I just looked up on their Instagram, and it kind of, so on their feed, they have it's like a to slash from picture. I hope I'm explaining this right, but if you were to when you're listening to this and if you were to go to their Instagram, you'll see what I'm talking about. Just picture that, and they did, like, a similar thing on the Instagram story. So, I always love when the Instagram story ties into a feed post. First of all, that's just
Mhm,
Instagram story strategy 101 in my opinion,
mhm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, so that was what was on my feed. Oh, well, there's 2 things. I don't know if I should go into the second thing yet.
Yeah, should we talk about giveaways since it's around,
Yes,
like,
yep.
giveaways and then go into, like, more things on our feed? Yeah. I think what a great way to really Instagram giveaways have been I mean, they're not new by any means, but what a great way to bring to life something that can sometimes be overlooked in terms of Instagram giveaways. I mean, you can think of a giveaway on Instagram where it's very, very basic in terms of, okay, like this post and tag your friends in the comments. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden you start getting random notifications from your friends who, you have those friends that like you tag in giveaways and
Y
they like tag to you. And you guys never
solely
talked about it, but
Yep, mhm.
but it's very known what's happening. And so because sometimes you gotta tag 3 or 4 people, so it's like, "Oh, okay, who are my 3 to 4 people that I can annoy
Mhm.
in these comments?" But they get it, and they'll reciprocate as well.
Uh-huh.
So there's those giveaways. I mean, even thinking back to the really old, very cringy Kardashian giveaways, if you guys are
Ugh,
listening and know this, in
yes.
2019 I actually worked with a client, and so this is when I was, freelance solopreneur of Social Savvy, and I worked with a client who was like bought in to a Kardashian giveaway. I think it was. Did I ever tell you this, Madeline? I don't know if I ever did. I don't really
Maybe
share this, but
uh-uh. Oh,
um,
I'm here for it, though.
so they bought into. It was with Khloe Kardashian, and
Love her.
um, they spent several $1,000s to buy into the giveaway, and I wanna say it was with, like oh, I hope I don't get this wrong. I think it was with, like, 150 brands who were a part of the giveaway, and so you had to, like, engage with the post that Chloe is posting. And so for context, if you guys don't know what this is, the Kardashians did it. So many big like Instagram celebrities at the time did it. But it's literally a like Louis Vuitton giveaway. Like they're typically sitting like in their house or in their driveway with a bunch of Louis Vuitton bags. And so that's what the giveaway is. So yeah, you guys just I mean, you're listening now, you know me, you know my personality. Imagine myself sitting in on this meeting with the client who's told me they've already paid and bought into this giveaway and it's happening. And Madeline, when I tell you this might be one of the like scariest moments of my life as a social media manager, which okay, I get it's a little dramatic. So they
No.
buy in several $1,000s to get in. It's a photo that Khloe Kardashian is posting on her Instagram or, someone on her
Mhm.
team. It's her sitting in her driveway with who knows, I don't know, Rolls Royce or something, and tons of Louis Vuitton bags. Okay, that's already where I'm at, and, it starts happening because the company who puts it together, they were like a Australian-based influencer marketing company, and it starts happening where they post it at, like, we're what are we, like, 10 to 12-hour difference from
Yeah.
Australia time zone, and so I'm pretty sure when the time they post, I think it was, like, 9 PM, like, Eastern Time Zone, and so, my client was based out of California, so Pacific Time Zone for them, so a little bit earlier, and so I remember, like, I was either emailing or texting or instant messaging with the client, like, "Okay, it's, like, about to happen." Keep in mind, they had maybe 1,000 followers when
Wait,
this happened,
is
and
is this also the one am I remembering it correctly where I was like, so they have this, but in order to enter it, like, you have to go and see who, like, Chloe was following, and it's like you follow all the accounts Chloe is following, like, t in order to
yes.
to win? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and so that's essentially how you know who is in the following. Yeah,
Yes.
you have to go
Okay.
into who Khloe Kardashian is following, which I think it was, like, around, like, 150. It was at least
Yeah.
100. It was a lot
Okay.
of people, and, so that happened, and it was it was insane. Within I probably have this somewhere, and I should definitely pull it. This is a great one for show me the numbers, and I can't believe I haven't pulled it, but within the first hour to 2 hours, they gained 50,000 followers. It was scary. Like, so like, your worst nightmare as a social media
Because
manager,
it's
like,
like, were they even
in
quality like, oh my gosh. Oh my
so
gosh.
then, again, think about, we're social media managers,
Mhm.
we know marketing, we know social media, and so in my head, I'm, like, thinking, "How are you going to get back these $1,000? Like, how are you even gonna break even from this?" Like, before they had 1,000 followers, which in their mind was not a lot. They were a product-based business, they had brand ambassadors who were pushing the product and genuinely loved it and would make commissions off of sales, and it was doing great. They were a startup. With any great startup, it takes time. Time, energy, patience,
Mhm.
effort, and this giveaway, completely it completely ruined everything that, like, literally happened, and so, um, so many followers came in, and it was one of those things where when you think that as the client's point of view, that, "Okay, I'm gonna get this, like, amount of followers," I think at the end of the day, 175,000 people followed them. Like, it was pretty high. So in this current moment, I don't know specifically right now, I wanna say they're around 40 to 50,000 followers. A lot of the accounts were random bots,
Mhm.
different things,
Mhm.
I imagine with something like that, like, people create bots and automate it and use AI to try to win this, and so crazy, and, but it happened, and a lot of people did that, and so you could see no uptick even in engagement because that person just, one, if they are a real account, they just followed 150 or
Mhm.
100 new brands. They might not even be your target audience in general. And so, not seeing any traffic in going to the website, certainly not in sales and anything like that. And, in hindsight, I think the client was actually really happy with doing the giveaway because they had that number on their following, which was crazy. But I'm like, of course, second fear unlocked. Okay, now I'm going to post something because this was pre reels.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to do a post. Okay, I'll be lucky if I get like 100 likes, which maybe we would have had pre giveaway. But now, it was just the engagement was abysmal. So anyway, long story long, that is my like one thing about a giveaway to where when I see, because people still do loop giveaways, they still do things like
Mhm.
that. I mean, I certainly hope people aren't still buying into that whole thing. I don't think that still exists, but it was really refreshing to see like Glossier's take on like leaning into their natural like consumers behavior. Like, we all have stuff in our carts like of every brand, so just leaning into that was really cool to see.
Yes, and for I'm, like, processing everything you just told me because that seriously is, I think, every social media manager's, like, worst nightmare because it's like, "Oh, cool, you got all those followers, but literally, do you see why that didn't matter?" Um,
Mhm.
but speaking of giveaways too, I think why I love seeing the Glossier one was because I recently just had a client like, we've been talking. And again, you tell me if how often do you say you do giveaways with clients? Because for me, like I haven't done one in a hot minute. So I actually got reached I was so sorry, another company reached out to me, and I shouldn't say company. Another social media manager actually reached out to me. And that was like such a breath of fresh air too, whereas like for us to actually go back and forth, because she even was like, "I'm open to your suggestions." She was just like, she's focusing on e-commerce, as am I for this
Mhm.
client, and I was like, "No, I love this." And it's gonna be, like, for St. Patrick's Day, and
Mhm.
to me, I've also in the past had clients who have wanted to do a giveaway literally every month, and I have to explain to them where I'm like, that takes away from the
Mhm.
excitement, from the value. So, but
Yeah.
again, I love like giveaways are such a good way to, yes, get some new followers, but again, making sure that they are your target market, but also just
Mhm.
fun. They can be fun. And so when you just a new type of giveaway, it got my brain thinking,
Mhm.
where now I'm just trying to think of some new giveaway ideas to pitch to clients.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, and so I don't know, if there's, like, a great number, like, big brands follow a certain number. I really think 1 to 2 giveaways a year because
Mhm.
one, I wanna give the, like you said, creative freedom around picking, like, different things. I've certainly worked with clients before who they were like, monthly giveaway always wanted to happen. Our most recent giveaway with a client was in last fall. It was for a client who was doing a couple of events, and so we gave away some tickets to their
Mm,
event, and that did really, really great. It was like a bring your BFF theme. Like
love.
it was the events are brunches, so it was like bring your BFF, let's brunch, and so that was really fun. We did do that because they had 2 events last year, and so the first event was in September, and the second event was in November, I believe, and so that was really close together, and it did not really work that well in terms of generating buzz for the second giveaway, even though it was a really high value thing and their community is large and they're all engaged. So it's a great, I think, community for that. So I like doing it like 1 or 2 a year. Like if you can figure out a great theme, if you have a great partner, like another brand or another creator that can help complement that as well. If you kind of need to step out of the box and figure out a way to do that giveaway, I think that works really great. We are currently thinking about a giveaway for a client that we might actually pitch them the idea of waiting until the summer because it kind of fits more the vibe of their brand. Like they really lean more towards like the California-esque
Mm,
vibe. And so we kind of want to pitch it in that way, but we actually might want to be a little bit more strategic. They have one brand that they really wanna partner with for it, but I also see for, like, their audience and for, their product, like, their audience being moms and their product, I really wanna do, like, a bundle giveaway. I just feel like
mm,
that with the multiple products that fit, that is what's gonna make that consumer really happy to enter and then to win. So, yeah, I don't really do them too often, just when it really makes sense with things that are timely, so similar to you.
mhm. Yeah. And it's funny because it's gonna be a bundle, the giveaway that I'm doing, and again, if the product didn't make sense for, like, my client, I would that would again, I'd been like, thank you, but no thank you."
Mhm.
So, I think that's
Yeah,
also something important to obviously consider too, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. No, I know there's so many different things on giveaways, so I feel like that is something that we should really all chat about that not me acting like we're one big group chat, but we are in the Facebook group, but we can definitely chat about that inside of the weekly thread because I would love to
Yes.
hear like everyone else's opinions on giveaways, like what they love to either like do for their clients or to enter for themselves. I think that could be a really fun conversation.
Even ooh, you just made me think of, maybe this could be our poll for this episode, is the type like, different
Mhm.
types of giveaways, like, which do
Oh,
you
yeah.
prefer? I feel like 2 polls, and again, I'm thinking in real time of, like, our Instagram stories, a poll to do, so everybody be sure to look out for it and get on me if I don't, but where it's like, giveaways that you like to do as a social media manager, polls that you like to actually enter as a consumer, because there are definitely some where I'm just like, so many
Mhm.
of my friends and family are like, "Maddie, I feel like you know how to like win a giveaway because like you like understand how it works." I'm like, "Do you guys understand that actually these people like do put it through an actual like giveaway picker? It's not just
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, so I have been the person who I haven't in oh, this confession time. But I have definitely been the person who hasn't put it through a giveaway picker, and I've just picked it because, like, I enjoyed
Mhm.
their comment. I saw that they tagged the most people, like, and I'm like, "You deserve it.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry."
hey,
I'm like, definitely
sometimes that human element outbeats the AI anytime. So, no,
and
I
I'm
love it. I've
like
done that before so many
because I'm like,
times.
"Ooh, I have so much power." There's no better like, I'm like, "Oh, I have so much power." So,
Yeah.
I see when
Yeah.
I do see when when my family and friends will be like, "Oh, I bet you know how," and I'm like, "Yeah," but, like, when it's bigger companies, I'm like, "No, that social media manager
Mhm.
for
Right.
sure is using the generator and not." So,
Well,
depending on the size of the social media account, possibly, possibly.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many different ways to do giveaways. So yeah, we would love to hear kind of the giveaways that you guys love to enter and run yourselves as social media managers. And yeah, we can definitely keep talking about that. But yeah, here's your permission slip to think outside the box like Glossier.
Mhm.
Like how can you do that? Because sometimes, and I know I feel that too as a creative, right? I'm always trying to think of like a new concept or a new like idea for a post or a giveaway or campaign or something when sometimes like I think we don't even need to think of new. Like just really like sit down and think about like the practicality of the product, the service of your audience. And sometimes it just kind of like comes to you. Like our giveaway for our client last fall, super simple. Bring your BFF. Like very simple,
Mhm.
very fun, kind of cute like campaign. But a really great way to really get people excited for this in real life brunch that they were going to go to if they won the giveaway. So really
And
fun.
probably so like, I bet you didn't have them, like, do 5,000 steps. So, like, also when
No,
the giveaways are just, like, one like, "Tag your bestie," I'm like, "Oh, easy, okay, cool." You're not asking for my
yeah,
blood type and my social security number.
right. Like I don't need when I'm doing a giveaway, like I look, I controversial or not, I don't need them to like I want them to follow because I want them to see the updates
Yes.
of the giveaway and the brands for all of that. And realistically too, I get it. You're gonna follow, the giveaway ends. Like if you unfollow, so be it. That is the power and freedom that we have on social media. So that makes sense. But no, I always like to make it super, super easy. Like, whether you're like it's a product like base giveaway, like what's your favorite flavor? Comment it. Like or
Yeah.
comment with a gift or an emoji and let us guess what your favorite like something fun to really make the giveaway like super special because I know thinking about it in my shoes if I'm entering the giveaway I'm not going to do all of these different things and
Mm.
so sometimes I think we get a little and our clients more so than us they get so attached with okay we're doing this giveaway we need them to follow we need them to join the email list we need them to do all these things and it's like wait a minute we're going to ask all these things and they're not going to enter the giveaway and the giveaway is not going to be successful and then it's just going to be the cycle of what happened when we can just let the giveaway be what it is and that can really have a great impact kind of what we talked about last week it's all about the depth sometimes doing the extra step of okay let's bundle some cool products together let's just ask people to comment like tagging their friend who also wants this bundle of products done. We're already creating like a great buzz around each of these brands in here. We're getting people excited. We're gifting something, which is an experience in of itself for that one person who does win it. So hey, maybe you find a customer for life for all of those products in that giveaway, which that is super valuable. So a lot of things to think about. But yeah, definitely don't make people jump through hoops, at least when any giveaways that you're creating.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go. I know you know what? We have no rules here at hashtag manage. So sometimes we get through the topic and then the segments, and sometimes it's the other way around. But okay, we have, before we close out this week's episode, so hang with us because I think it's my favorite part of the episode. I don't know if I've said that about any other part in the past. Maybe I've said it about on my feed because it's always so fun to see what is on Madeline's feed, and I know like vice versa. And so my feed, and actually like all of my feed, is filled with Risa Tisa's 52-part series of Who Did I Marry? And okay, it's 52 parts on TikTok, and Risa posted 10-minute long videos. I think Madeline, you shared you made it to like part 30. I know I made it to, and honestly, in hindsight, I made it pretty far, but I was watching it really late at night, like really late. Like I woke up the next morning and I was like, yeah, it's gonna take me a little bit to get up and to get at it for the day. But um I did watch a lot of really great recaps. And so, so many people are talking about Risa Tisa as a storyteller. And one, it's so fun. Like, use that in your like copywriting this week in your emails and your videos and your hooks. Like, here's this video. It's not going to be a 52-part series. Like it's one, or I don't know, something fun. I
Yeah.
think we could definitely, play into that way. But um I think she's a great storyteller because so many of us were captivated in the story. Now, if we all made it to the very end, like, I mean, that's amazing. Um, there's so many different parts of the story that are crazy, and I think those parts get people to comment to her, like, for example, well, why didn't you see that sign, or why didn't you question this a while ago, or like so many different things. Of course, hindsight's always 2020. Risa is just telling us her experience with this, just to shed light on if it, happens to anyone else, or, just to create the content. I was telling Madeline, I feel like Risa is a really great storyteller in terms of I was always captivated in how it was going. Obviously, it was a wild story about this person and just hearing all the crazy things that he did. So that was something that always kept me intrigued. But it was a really long story that most people don't make it that far. And I think maybe the only people who do are the ones who do those recap videos. They got their whiteboard and like, okay, so here's what you missed. And so I think those people are great at storytelling. So again, very similar terms, but we always hear, storytelling in terms of how we write copy. And, telling a story about something doesn't have to be a 52-part sequence or series. But if we're talking about things, we're keeping people interested, we're really painting the picture of what happened, then to me, in my opinion, that's great storytelling. So that's what's consuming my feed at this time.
Mhm. I seriously, I kind of wish I would have kept up with it. It was one of those because I'm that person who, like, I have to finish a book. Like, I don't
Mhm.
even if I hate the book, I will finish it and let you know that I didn't like it. But it was just one of those things where I think I just spoiled it because I was watching the recaps. But yeah.
Mhm.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay, on my feed this week, which I feel like is a 360 to that or 180 to that,
Mhm.
whatever. um Bays, again, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. To genius idea. So they took negative reviews, and again, I feel like we this is has been a common theme that we talked about, where it's like, how do you spin like negative feedback, negative reviews to a positive? Well, they took the opportunity where multiple people, they saw multiple consumers complaining about how dirty the bags get. And first of all, when you travel, you gotta expect that your bags are going to get dirty, but
Mhm.
they decided to do a Bays Wash pop-up in California where you could bring in your bags and they would clean them. And, like, this pop-up was so cute. Literally, the marketing behind all of their stuff, like,
Mhm.
all their campaigns is always so cute. But it literally was like a car wash, like, it was a very nostalgic
Mhm.
too, so again, I think that speaks to they definitely know who their target audience is and just had fun
Yeah.
with it, and, what's the owner's name or the founder?
Oh,
What's her name?
Shay Mitchell?
Yeah, Shay. She's again, she's just one of those personalities, celebrity personalities that I love. Like, I feel like she very much how she acts online is how she is in real life. I could be wrong, but I
Mhm.
feel like there are honestly
Yeah.
just some of those celebrities and public figures who you just know, like, they are who they
Mhm.
are, her being one of
Mhm.
them. And so she in one of the videos I saw, because again, we'll link we can link or you guys can look up
Mhm.
on your own. Seriously, you would just type in Bays Wash on
Yeah.
TikTok or
Mhm.
probably even Instagram. But she, you know how every car wash they have the person like standing with those signs? Well, she was like dancing around with it. And they also had one of those what those like the air thingies, the guys that just like
Oh, yeah.
what are they
Yeah,
called?
like
Like, you
a
know, where
like at a car dealership, like the
yes,
yeah.
the weird thingy that flies around. Well, again, so on brand, they got one that was in beige and, like, had base on it, and I was just like, "This is" like, every detail gets considered, and I'm just like, you
Yeah.
just appreciate that, like and again, I think as marketers, like, you literally think about every single detail that you could possibly think of, and that is, again, what
Mhm.
makes a great marketer, in my opinion. But
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, because I think, you know, what would another brand say? They would say, "Okay, wipe it down with, like, a Clorox wipe. Like, what are you doing?" Or, you know, or I know too, like, a big part of the problem is sometimes there's certain people were posting on TikTok that after like you said, after that first trip, it was like, "Whoa, this is kind of crazy," because, you know, I just flew from New York to Tampa. I, you know, didn't go around the world multiple times and have multiple like connections. And so that was crazy. You know, they could have said, oh, you know, contact our support at bays.com or, you know, whatever their URL is, which I think most brands do. And so having that opportunity to create, you know, for a lack of a better term, Instagrammable,
mhm.
TikTokable, I don't even know if that's the word we say, but like moment,
I like
like
it, I
so
like
good.
it though. No, and
Yeah.
also because I know you have base luggage, I have away luggage, like, again, I think both are amazing. For me too, like, so away, how they kind of and I think it comes honestly down to or comes back to their strategies. Each you can kind of see each one of their approaches where so what drew me to Away when I bought Away luggage was the life warranty, like, that was one of their biggest
Mhm.
selling points, and they
Yeah.
also, when you buy it, they give you a little magic eraser, which, I mean, it's
Mm.
literally probably the magic eraser, but they again, they put it in the thing to kinda show you, like, use this to get off the scrapes or
Mhm.
whatever, and then they also, had all the what's the word I'm looking for? Adjustments for when you travel to different countries, like when you plug in your charger. What is the
Oh,
word?
like a outlet converter?
Yes, they and yes, so
Plug?
that's
Yeah.
in yep, and that's included with their
Mm.
their luggage. So for me, that drew me in. Again, I for sure definitely think at the time when I was buying my luggage, because that's another thing, again, where it's like when somebody's buying luggage, when you're putting that much money again, because
Mhm.
Away is not cheap, but, like, again, where it's, like,
Right.
quality. So, again, they targeted me for sure because it's like, "Ooh, I'm spending a pretty penny on this luggage, but you're also promising me this warranty." Where I think
Mhm.
Bays, it's very pretty and, like, different, but I get again, in some of the videos that I was watching, they also reiterated that they also have a life warranty, but I feel like maybe in the beginning, that wasn't really one of their biggest selling points per se, but now this
Yeah.
created the opportunity for them to be like, "Hey, we also have this same"
Mhm.
um, feature. I don't know if feature is the exact
Mhm.
word that I want, but, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
feature that these other luggage companies also offer. So, again, I
Mhm.
feel like that's just market like, again, the different approaches because like, for something like luggage, you have different selling points, you know, and maybe in your own business or your client's business, I don't know, maybe this whole conversation might spark an idea for you where it's like, maybe you haven't gone about going one of those other selling point revenues, ventures, whatever, and can maybe
Mhm.
get your creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
that was what was on the Buzzing Blondes feed.
I love it, I love it. Well, wow, we talked about so many fun things. I feel like, you know, social media always keeps us on our toes, as we know, but some really cool things, like, in terms of on our feed and different things that we're just chatting through. So definitely join the hashtag Manage Collective Facebook community over on Facebook, 100% free. Madeline, we are close to 20,000 in that group. So
Heck
we're
yeah.
19.9, which is
That's
crazy.
crazy. That is
So
crazy.
yeah, so again, I'm gonna have to say it. I'm sorry, Harmony. I just have to. I can't not say it. But it's so funny. I catch myself every time before I do. But shameless plug, be that 20,000th member to join. And every week when these episodes go live on your podcast player, we also have a thread that goes live where we chat through a lot of these topics as well. So we would love to hear kind of everything you guys are thinking and just have the conversation there. And also, before we sign off, we are starting an email list specifically for the hashtag manage pod. So we would love for you guys to join. So go to hashtagmanage.com/social club. So that again, hashtagmanage.com/social-club. We'll have that linked in the show notes, of course, so you guys can join and opt into our email list 100% free. All we ask is your email. We ask a few questions because we want to know you guys a little bit better because we have some fun stuff that we're cooking up and we want to hear what you guys want to see from us. So would love for you guys to join that community over on email as well. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. If you made it to this end of our episode. We appreciate you guys so much, and we'll be back next Monday with another new episode. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you haven't already, hit that follow button, and if you really love us, be sure to subscribe wherever you are listening from.
And if you want to be one of our online besties, you can shoot us a DM over at hashtag managed on Instagram and let us know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode. Or, you could also share all your deepest, darkest secrets. Kidding, but we mean it when we say you can shoot us a DM. We love building real, authentic relationships with you.